definition or background on the word or whatever. I like when he does that. So I think I'll try. But before I even looked it up, I said, inspiration. Maybe I can make something up myself. So I said, in spirit. Ah, that's it, good. You know, put in a container, we'll put spirit in it. You know, I thought, oh, I probably nailed that one. So I went to the dictionary. And let's see, it was Merriam-Webster told me. It comes from Middle English. And it's in the sense of divine guidance. And also from Old French, late Latin. And then it referred me to go to inspire, the verb. So I went to inspire. And again, from Middle English and French inspire, Latin, and it says breathe or blow into, from, into, and inspire, breathe. So I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's what God did to create Adam, right? He just blew into some dust and he was there. So that thought came to me, and I said, well, maybe I should check, the Bible on that. What do they say about that? And so I went to Genesis, and I pulled out the section where they said that. And so I'm going to read it here. It says, now no shrub had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant had yet sprung up. For the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground. But streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So I'm going to do far off. That's what they said. But there's something in here that really kind of made me question that way that was written, because it says here, where is that little line? It says, oh, God hasn't made anybody here to work the land yet. Well, I thought, Eden, you didn't have to work the land. I'm thinking, no, somebody got off the storyline here a little bit. That was just an aside, So, anyway, but then from there, Adam, as Terry has told us many times, is our ego, our physical body, our ego, right? So then God, knew that wasn't going to work, right? You need a balancing energy, so, of course, he created Eve. So he yanks a rib out of him and creates Eve, right? And of course, if you think about this, the ribs protect the heart and the lungs, right? So he takes something away that's protecting his ego, Adam, right? And also, it's protecting the heart. And the heart is the center of emotion. And that emotion comes from, a feminine aspect. So that was like a little portal to get in there. But, that story, I know Leon's not going to like it, because sometimes when Patty Jean gets on him, he's always saying, God, you could have done something else with that spare rib. Sweet baby James, rib paste, or rib sauce, and a barbecue, Well, I always side with Patty Jean, because I know she's always right. So. Anyway, so the actual definition, again, was the process of inspiration, the process of being mentally stimulated to do something or feel something especially creative. And then the second definition is drawing in a breath, in an inhalation. So how many have ever had a time when they were in a situation, they got so inspired that, your knees got weak, or, you felt so insignificant by this inspiration? Anyone ever had that? Yeah. I years ago, it was after I was separated for a while, I did a Alan Cohen, you guys probably know Alan Cohen, a mastery workshop. So I went to Hawaii. So I got there, and it was dark, and they drove us up to this little house on this side of the mountain on Maui. And I got out of the van, I looked up, and I'd never seen the Milky Way like this. I was like, man, I felt so insignificant. That thing is spread out all over the place, and I'm on a big mountain, and this is, spread out across it. I was like, whoa, So then, that was the first one. And then the next morning, I walked out. I had no idea what the landscape was or anything. I walked out, there were a bunch of people sitting at a table, in front of the place. And my knees went weak, because what I saw in front of me was something that it was a picture I had drawn 3 times in my life. When I was in junior high, I drew this picture. It was around the time when I was having some issues, health issues, and I drew this drawing of a house on a mountain here, then in between, another mountain, in between was the sea, and a road coming up here to the house. And that's exactly what it was. I turned around, and the house was right there. The road came in behind me, the other mountain was there, there was the sea, the sun even was there. And my knees got weak. And I went over and sat down, and somebody asked me if I was okay. And at that point I said, man, I'm in the right place. Because I had just drawn that picture probably a month before, when I was deciding whether I should go spend the money to do that workshop. So I said, I gotta keep my ears open here, something's going on. So after the first session in the morning, I came back and I had a journal, and the cover on the journal was a fabric, and it was like prehistoric drawings on it, right? It was setting with all my stuff. I came over, and there was a hat made of the same material sitting on top of it. And I said, where'd this come from? You know? And so I asked around, and I finally found the person who put it there. So I said, well, I know I'd have to have a conversation with this person. So I did, and she was going through something similar, and she kind of gave me a perspective on how she's going to handle, you know, the breakup in a relationship, and I got her perspective, and then you know, for me that kind of opened up an area of, you know, acceptance, and I thought, wow, you know, I mean, I needed that conversation. Then later in the day, I found out that there was a lady who, her birthday was August 28th, which is my birthday, and we were going to be there for our birthdays, and they were going to do something special for us. So I said, well, I got to find out what her story is. And sure enough, she had some health issues in her life, and soldiered on, and I mean, this energy coming out of her was like, man, there was no negativity for all the things she'd been through, and it was very inspirational. So that was, you know, that was my story on, you know, how things can really influence your life if you just pay attention. Okay. Now back to Adam. Let's see. God breathed life into him, right? And that's our ego, right? And so I'm thinking words do mean something, because you always hear people say he's got an inflated ego. So God didn't stop breathing on that guy. You know, so, what can you do? You know, everybody knows a person like that, you know, and you just have to deal with it. And so anyway. Actually, inspiration, that part of inspiration, that was just kind of a warm-up. What I really want to talk about is the aspect of breathing, how breathing can actually affect us. There are breathing techniques that actually can help people with different issues. Now, the first one that I want to speak to is a method from a Ukrainian physicist, or physiologist, I guess you call him. He learned that asthma people are breathing very quickly, and that, bringing in too much oxygen, expels too much carbon dioxide, and then you don't have a balance, and then that's when you get the constriction. Everything constricts. So what he would teach people to do is a slow breath, and even holding your breath. Okay? And I'm see if I can attempt to pronounce this guy's name. Wodienko? Let's see. Yeah. Konstantin Pavlovich Wodienko. And what he said is this technique can be used for any diseases of civilization. In other words, diseases that are caused by your environment, you know, something that's not contagious or congenital. He said it'll help anything. You know, he started with asthma, and he started his research in the 40s, I think 52, when I was born. He decided to write it down, and in the 60s he was actually teaching it. And a lot of countries the insurance companies will pay for it, you know, to go to somebody and learn how to do this. And they prove over and over again that it works. And what he would do is he would measure your oxygen level, but it's not like a test. You can do it yourself. So what he has you do is take some relaxing breaths and then exhale, and then hold your nose, and then just stay with that until you feel that urge to breathe again. He said 40 to 60 seconds you should comfortably be able to do comfortably. If you're way short, then you're breathing too much. You're taking too many breaths, and you're expelling too much carbon dioxide. Okay? I was just going to mention it, but then when I looked deeper into all the writings and listened to some seminars, I said, well, maybe I should impart this knowledge to you. So, but there are a couple others that I wanted to actually give you some paperwork on. Pass them around there. And what we'll do at the end, I'm going to do that meditation at the end. So we'll just do some of these breathings and then just relax into some silence, okay? Let everybody take a quick look at it. The first one I'm going to talk about is heart math. And I know it's been around a while, and I know Unity of Fairfax actually they have teachers there for a while doing classes. All right. Okay, so this is the technique. So you would bring to mind an experience where you felt love, gratitude, appreciation, or inspiration. And the anchor that I use is when my daughter was born, they had her in an incubator, a warming incubator. She was laying there, and I took a picture with my camera. She was asleep, and the flash woke her up. And when she woke up, she had this half smirk, half smile on her face. I got this. I got it handled, and I snapped the picture, and I got this great picture of her, half smile here, a little smirk there, her eyes are open. And, so when I think about that, it's just so grounding for me. A little lesson from her, the first one. Okay, so you use this experience to focus your mind on positive energy. And what that does is takes the negative thoughts out, because the negative thoughts actually cause disharmony in the body, disharmony in your breath, and disharmony in the heart signal. If you look at the little graph down below the right up there, the left side are all the things, all these measurements that come from a negativity or negative emotions, and then by doing the breathing and the mind focus, you get into a sinus rhythm here. Because what happens is the heart rate goes up and down. We're not really aware of it. But when we're in negative emotion, it's like this. So if you measure the length of one heart rate, or one heartbeat, the next, and if you're in a good place and you graph the length of those, they would go in and say, oh, it's going too fast. Whoa, it's going too slow, and your body adjusts. But when you have negative emotions, you're in a bad place, your body doesn't do that. It short circuits it. Okay? Now, they actually have had people that are so good at doing this, they could come up behind somebody and they're hooked up to the heart math EM meter, and this person can come up within 3 feet of this person and put that person in coherence. That person's doing nothing. Just their energy is doing that. So it's pretty powerful. And the most powerful signal in the body is that your heartbeat, that signal. And it's like I guess a capacitor. It sends out a signal, and it affects all the cells in the body, including the brain waves. And of course, you use the breath to actually try to get that heartbeat. A balanced breathing. In, out, okay? So that's the heart math coherence. The next, anyone that's done yoga probably knows this one, the alternate nose breathing. So what you do is block off one nostril, breathe through the other. I always have people put their index finger on their third eye and have them focus the breath right to the third eye, and then close off and exhale, inhale, hold, close. So So that's a general description of that. Now the normal breathing from Constantine, he says, you breathe in, you breathe out, and then there should be a time where before you take the next breath. When that time starts getting shorter, that's, you're not healthy. And they know that even for people who are dying in hospice, in a shorter breath, they don't have that time. And the American Indians, I guess maybe not all of them, but I've read that they think of the breath as your life. Inhale, you're being born, and then from the time you're being born, you're exhaling. That's your life, and then you're into that, and then spirit comes back. It's kind of a mini life cycle, I guess. Right. And then the last one's called Hung Sao, and that's I guess it's Sanskrit. It means I am he, I am spirit. Now this one, you get relaxed and you're just breathing, and you relax so much that that little break between the breaths gets to where, if you haven't done it and you're not used to doing it, you're saying, oh my God, I better take a breath. Because it really, you could get down to 3 or 4 breaths in a minute if you're practicing it well. And you feel comfortable. You would think, if you're not taking a breath, you're going to feel uncomfortable, but actually it's not. I mean, your body, will say, hey, this is nice. Well, I guess unless you're sick and then you feel like you need it, because of the lack of CO2. Does anybody have any questions about, what we possibly could do, breathing could do? Yeah.
I was triggered when you talked about the long pauses between breaths, the sleep apnea problem. Do you have any information about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. The people that do the Budenko, they say it's not good to force oxygen to people. As a matter of fact, a lot of people stop using them. They just can't deal with it. They suggest you go learn their methods, and you'll be surprised how well you'll be able to do. They say people that snore, people that have apnea, even cancer patients. I see this in our clinic. You look at, you go over and you're working with a patient, and you got to move because you're picking up on their breathing. Well, at least I'm open up, and I'm like, I better get over here, get my rhythm back, because you pick up on how they're heavy they're breathing or they're not breathing, and it's sometimes it can be a little choking up. So, anybody else? Any questions? Okay. All right. I want to just go ahead and we'll just start doing some breaths, and we'll do some relaxation, and then we'll do a little meditation. I'll just play a little music while I do it. Okay, let's start with the heart math. Okay. All right. Now, when I mentioned, bringing to mind a positive thought or experience, did anyone have one jump in their mind when I said that, or most of us walking around and not enjoying our lives in our past life? So, yeah, you going? Oh, good. Okay. Everybody, take a minute and pick out something that's a place, a time, a situation of gratitude, of love. Okay. Hold that thought. Experience it as deeply and as present as you can. All right. Now, I want you to focus on your breath, and I want you to have it maybe a count of 5 in and a count of 5 out. And the count can be your own speed. want you to focus that breath as coming in through the heart, through that portal where God yanked that rib out of Adam. And I want the breath to go from the heart into the lungs and up through the crown chakra. Inhalation and a balanced exhalation. Be able to feel the energy coming from the heart out through the body with each breath. Into the room again. So the next breath will be the alternate nostril breathing. So if you take I use the dominant hand and put the thumb on the nostril, the index finger on your third eye, and then inhale through the open nostril. Inhale. Hold. Remove the left, remove the thumb from the nostril and exhale through that nostril. Inhale. Hold. Move the index finger and middle finger from the nostril. Exhale. More of these. Inhale, close off and hold. Move the thumb and exhale. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. On the other side. Inhale again. Hold. And exhale through the thumb. Inhale. Hold. Exhale through the other nostril. One more cycle. Inhale. Hold. problem solved. So just check in with your body, make sure everything's relaxed. Relax your chest and allow the breath to easily come into the body. And just let it linger there until the body feels like it needs another breath. Take another breath and relax. And after each cycle, relax, further relax, until there's a distance between inhale and exhale. You may want to subconsciously use the mantra hung on the inhale and sa on the exhale. If you do it slow, you can affect your relaxation and your breathing. Now take a few seconds